Hi, and welcome to another shoe review here on Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim, and today I'm sharing my thoughts on the Rebound Core by FitVille. Now, these are shoes that were sent to me for the purpose of review by FitVille. However, no one is paying me to make the video, and no one will have an opportunity to preview this video before I share it with you here on YouTube first. Now, before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes that I'm about to review for you. So let's do that, but then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real close look at the Rebound Core by FitVille. If you're new to the channel, I post running shoe reviews and comparisons both on Wednesday and Saturday mornings, and that's at 5 a.m. Standard Eastern Time here in the US. But I also like to post other videos related to running, but I'm never sure what day of the week that's going to be or even what time of day. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos related to running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. Now, these are designed for people who have wide feet or are looking for a wider fit shoe and or who suffer from issues like plantar fasciitis. Now, they cost $95 US. They are a bit heavy. They came in at 13.1 ounces, and that's for a men's size 9 on my scales, or 312 grams. So I'm going to start talking about the fit and the feel first of the upper, starting there in the toe box. And as I mentioned, these shoes are designed for people who are looking for a wider fit shoe, and they live up to their promise. There's plenty of room to splay your toes up in that toe box area. And although there was plenty of room here, I still was able to get it locked in and secure across my midfoot using that eyelet chain, and I felt secure back in the heel. Now I'm going to zoom in. We'll take a real close look at the upper and the material that they used to make it. Here we can see that they used a combination of some suede material along with some mesh panels. Then they have a plastic overlay back toward the midsection of the shoe that extends up, around, and into the eyelet chain itself. And then they continue with the suede material around in the back of the heel counter. Now, everything about this shoe seems to be heavy duty. I guess that's the best words I can use to describe it. And that holds up true for the eyelet chain as well. As we take a close look at it, you can see that they have tons of material both on the outside as well as the inside cage area to add that durability, so you don't have to worry about your laces ripping through those at all. The only real exception to being a classic eyelet system is that center eyelet is a band as opposed to a traditional style. But I did find that it was easy for me to get a lockdown feeling across the midfoot section of the shoe. I didn't have any issues with that at all. Now, the tongue is not gusseted, but they do have that loop to run your laces through to help hold it in place. But I didn't have any issues with that. It laid nice and flat across my foot. Very comfortable, heavily padded, so I didn't feel the laces cutting into the top of my foot at all. It was very comfortable to run in. Now, the padding around the heel collar and the tab, there is just a ton of it. As we take a look at the shoe, that padding extends down almost all the way to the footbed here. And then it's that way around the heel collar as well as the tab. There's tons of foam there for your Achilles to rest in. I found it to be really comfortable. I would say, luxury comes to mind with all of that padding, but it does add that weight. Remember, this is a fairly heavy shoe at 13.1 ounces for a men's size 9 on my scales, and this is part of the reason why. It's just a ton of padding, both in the tongue, around the heel collar, and then through to the tab of the shoe. Looking at the heel counter, I'm just going to give it the pinch test. To do that, I'm going to put it up on my shoulders. I'm going to see how much resistance is back here. Now, oftentimes, because I overpronate, I do pay close attention to the construction of the heel because I look for a little bit of stability to help hold my heel in place. And they certainly have it here. They also included a plastic heel clip. Now, that starts in the lateral side of the shoe and it runs all the way around to the medial side. And that, too, adds to that stability feeling that you get when you're running these. Now, they did include a removable insole. I always appreciate that. Now, these are made of a memory foam, so it adds a little bit of cushion or plushness to your experience. But also, it's just nice to be able to pull them out, clean them up, put them back in, so you're good to go the next time. The midsole is made up of a dual density EVA foam. They have an approximation of about 30 millimeter stack height in the heel and 20 millimeters in the forefoot for a 10 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. In the heel, it's a more dense foam. And I'm going to try to depress that with my thumbs, and you can see that that is pretty stout. But then as we move to the midfoot, to the forefoot section of the shoe, you can see here that that is a much softer or more cushioned foam underfoot there. Now, the midsole does feature a real classic design. It's not an aggressive rocker at all. And then we can turn and we'll look at the heel and we can see there's only a slight heel bevel there to help with your transition from your foot strike through to your toe off. As we turn and we look now at the landing platform, they've got a nice big wide landing platform up in the forefoot, middle, as well as in the heel section of the shoe, which just adds to that stable ride that you get when you're running these. So let's flip these shoes over and we'll take a look at the outsole and see how they're protecting that EVA foam that they have in the midsole. And here we can see that they just have a ton of it. There's rubber in all of the high abrasion areas, around in the heel and up through to your toe off. And they call it an anti-skid. I didn't have any issues feeling unsafe when I was out running, although I didn't take these out in any kind of wet conditions yet. But from the run experience that I have had in these, I felt safe and secure when I was out on the road. Talking about the performance of these shoes, I think that they did well for the purpose for which they were designed, and that would be for people who are looking for a wider fit shoe that need a little bit of stability. Now, these are not being advertised as a traditional stability shoe, but they do have a lot of stabilizing features to them, and they are being marketed as a shoe that can help with people who suffer from foot issues, as I mentioned earlier, such as plantar fasciitis. While I can't speak to that directly, I can say that these are a pretty stable shoe to run in. I do tend to overpronate, and I didn't have any issues with pronation. Now, these are a well-built shoe. They use some quality materials in building that upper as well as the midsole and the outsole material that they have there. They put tons of padding in the tongue as well as the collar and the tab of the shoe. Now, all of that, however, does add some durability, and you're going to be able to get a lot of miles on these, but it adds a lot of weight. And that's one of the downsides to these shoes, is that they do come in over 13 ounces for a men's size 9 on my scales. I'd like to see them come in about 10 ounces. That would be my preference. And I feel like that midsole material could be a little softer to run in. Now, I am a smaller runner, and I typically do purchase shoes that are a standard width. But if you're a runner with maybe a little bit more mass than what I have, or you're looking for a shoe with a wider toe box, then these might be a good choice for you. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.